Let's start. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day one of project-oriented JMeter performance testing training. So, as a part of today's session, we are going to discuss about very basic concepts of software. Okay, what is software? What are different types of software companies that are available? Okay, what each and every software company will do, and we'll discuss about software development lifecycle process, how an application is going to be developed. Okay, and once after developing the application, how the testing team is going to come into the picture, and they are going to start testing the application, and what are the different methodologies that we have that we are going to follow. So initially, which methodology we followed, now which methodology we are following. So what are the drawbacks of initial methodology, and what are the advantages of the current methodology? So those points we'll discuss in today's session. Okay. So before going to start my next slide, right, I just want to ask you, like, what is software? Anyone? Can you please answer? What is software? You can give us mild definition. Rekha, Vaishnavi, any guess from your end? What is software?
It is a platform where we can perform the activities which we
Mm,
want.
okay, it is a platform where we can perform the activities. Okay, one way. Okay, any other definition that you can give for software?
To perform specific tasks, software is required.
Yeah, in order to perform a specific task, we need some software. Okay, we need some software. So software is nothing but it is going to be a set of instructions, okay, or set of data or programs which is used to operate the computers and execute some specific tasks. So for example, in our case, we are using Microsoft Teams. Okay, so Microsoft Teams is a software. So with the help of Teams, what we are going to do, we can connect virtually and we can share a screen like how I am doing it right now, and we can do some specific tasks, right? We can conduct meetings, we can conduct sessions, right? So different things we are going to chat, right? We are going to share the information. So a lot of things we are going to perform here, right? So different tasks we are going to perform here with the help of one software. Okay. So who developed this particular team software? There is one software company called Microsoft. Okay. So this Teams software is related to Microsoft company. Okay. So Microsoft is a software company which is going to create the products that take the form of various types of softwares. So software company, what it will do, it will create the product, okay, that take the form of various types of software. So if you take Microsoft, right, for example, so Microsoft have different products. One is Teams, right? And you have multiple other products also, like Outlook is there, like a lot of other products are also there, which are related to Microsoft, PowerPoint presentation, right? So these are all related to Microsoft only, right? So it's like it's a software company which is going to have or which is going to create different products, okay, in order to make the users to use that particular product. So IT companies are broadly divided into two different types. One is service based company and the other one is product based company. So what is the major difference between service based and product based? Any guess? Product based means they are going to have their own products. If you take the Microsoft, Google, Apple, they have their own products, right? Apple iPhone, right? So Microsoft, you have Teams, as I mentioned, we have this one, right? The words, MS Word. Okay. So Microsoft Office software, right? So for Google, we have different options, right? Different products, right? So they are going to have their own products, and they will develop that products, and they are going to release those products in the market. And normal users like us, they will purchase their products, and we are going to use their products. Okay. So those companies which are going to develop their own products and release into the market, right? Those companies we are going to call it as product based companies. Okay. What are service based companies? Service based companies are nothing but they will take one project and they will complete that. Okay, they will provide service. For example, if I'm a person, like if I'm an entrepreneur, okay, so I'm just planning to sell my items, okay, online. So what I'll do, I'll approach one company, okay, or one company will approach me, okay, and I'm going to give all my requirements to them, and they're going to develop one application for me. Once after developing that application, once that application went to live, okay, then we are good with that, right? So nowhere the company is going to take the ownership of that particular application going forward. Okay, they are going to simply provide the service, and for that particular service they will cost some amount, right? They will take some amount. So those companies which work in this way, we are going to call it as service based companies. Okay, example like Accenture, Cognizant, Deloitte, Entity Data. So these are all different service-based companies that we have. So nowadays, like we have both product-based as well as some of the companies, right? They are having their own products, but parallelly they are providing the service to customers. Okay, that means they will develop their own products. At the same time, they will provide the service also parallelly in order to earn some revenue. Okay, so these are the different points that you need to know before entering into the software field. Okay, are we clear with this? Any questions here? Okay, considering that as no, if you are silent, like I'll consider that as no. Okay, so considering that as no, I'll move to the next step. So these are the different roles in a software company. So business analyst, software architect, team lead or technical lead, engineering manager, QA engineer, right? Software developers, UI UX designers, scrum master, product owner, testers, right? So these are all the different roles that are going to be there in the software company. Let's try to understand some of the few important roles and their work, okay, and their work. So let us say this is me. Consider this as me. Okay, I'm an entrepreneur, as I mentioned. So I'm planning to have one website to my company so that I can sell my products on that website. So for that purpose, what I did is like I approached one software company. So immediately what happened from that software company, a team of members, okay, like project manager, architect, business analyst, and quality lead, they approached me. Okay, they contacted me and they scheduled one meeting with me. Okay, so what the architect will do, okay, what the business analyst will do, quality lead will do, and project manager will do, that I need to understand. So any guess what the architect will do? Guys, any guess what the architect will do here?
Like he can make a blueprint. He maybe makes a blueprint of what the software that means uh,
First, he'll understand the requirement of the client, and based on that, he will tell whether this developing this requirement is possible or not. Okay, that means he'll understand the technical feasibility of the requirement, whether we can develop this requirement or not, technically, whether it is possible or not. Okay, so if it is technically possible, like how the structure will be, like how many servers we need, okay, so which particular software we are going to use and how those servers are connected with each other, right? What exactly the flow, okay, initially which particular part we need to develop and how we need to integrate each and every part of this application, that entire thing will be taken care by the architect. Okay, he'll understand the technical feasibility of the requirement. And what the business analyst will do, what is the role of business analyst? Business analyst is the one who is going to have the good knowledge on the specific domain. Let us say I want one e-commerce application, right? So this business analyst should have complete knowledge on this e-commerce application. So there are business analysts who are having like some specific knowledge on the specific domains, right? So some people they will have knowledge on the healthcare domain. Some people they have knowledge on the banking domain. Some people, they have knowledge on the insurance domain, right? So those kind of business analysts only they are going to bring here. The software company is going to bring here, and they will ask this business analyst to sit with the client. So during the requirement phase, this business analyst is the one who is going to interact with the client and who is going to get some information from the client. If the client is going to say like, I don't know anything, okay, but I need one application so that I can sell the products, then this business analyst, he is going to provide the inputs to the client, like how an e-commerce application should look like. Why? Because he is having good exposure on that application part, right? On that domain part. So that is the reason why business analyst is the guy who is going to give some inputs to the client, or who is going to interact with the client to get the requirements. Okay. Next, quality lead. Okay. So this quality lead work is to understand the quality expectation from the project. So what exactly the quality expectation, right? So that means what types of testings that we need to do. Okay. And after performing all the types of testings, right, whether the application is stable or not. Okay. Whether we can proceed for the release or not. So that can be taken care by the quality lead. And what the project manager will do is, he'll take the budget related information, he will go with the resource expectations, okay, and he will prepare the timelines, and within the timelines whether the project is getting completed or not. Okay, that and those kind of things will be taken care by the project manager here. Okay, these are the major roles in a software company, and most of the times, okay, a 4 members team is going to contact the client initially. Okay, hope it is clear. Any questions till now? Okay. So along with this team, again, we have programmers, quality leads, okay, test engineers, okay, few other members also going to be there, right? So what this entire team will do is, they will take the inputs from the client, okay, and they will follow one process called software development life cycle. Okay, they will follow one process called software development life cycle in order to develop one particular software or application. Okay, so this software company, they will follow one process called software development life cycle, and they are going to follow this process in order to develop one application or software. But before going to know that, we'll try to understand the structure of the roles here. Okay, so the structure of the roles is going to be like this. Product owner will be there, and under product owner, project manager will be there. Under project manager, different teams will be there. Okay, software architect team will be there, developers will be there, designers team will be there, quality assurance team will be there, business analyst is going to be there. So for each and every project, these are the different roles, okay, are the structure how it is going to be. Okay, so based on this idea, we'll try to understand the software development lifecycle process. Okay, software development lifecycle process. How many of you know this? What are the different stages of software development lifecycle process? Is everyone know or aware of this part? If yes, I'll try to cover it quickly. If no, I'll go I'll go slowly and I'll explain some of the important points here. How many of you are aware of this process?
I don't know.
Okay. What about others? Please confirm. Okay. Let me cover. Okay. Anyhow, let me cover the software development lifecycle process. So this is nothing but, see, whenever if you are going to see like life cycle, okay, just remember that we are going to have different phases or stages here. In whenever if we are seeing like life cycle anywhere, just consider that we are going to have different stages or phases over here. So in order to develop one particular software, okay, what are the different stages or phases that we are going to follow? Okay, that we need to take care of. Okay, that is nothing but software development life cycle. Why we need to follow this process is nothing but in order to develop one particular application or software by following the set of standards, by following a set of standards, okay, to maintain the proper quality of the product as well as the correctness of the software. To maintain the proper quality of the product as well as the correctness of the software. So we'll follow this process in order to do this particular thing, right? We'll develop one application by following a systematic procedure, okay, wherein our main intention is to maintain the quality and the correctness of the software once the software got developed. Okay, in order to do that, we are going to follow this process called software development life cycle. Okay, now let's try to understand what are the different phases of this software development lifecycle process. So if you go with the different phases, there are going to be like 7 phases of software development lifecycle process. First phase starting with formation phase. First phase is the formation phase. Okay. So if I'm writing something, ignore my handwriting here. I'm writing using mouse. So it may not look good, but please bear with me. Okay. So the first phase is the formation phase, or we can call it as project initiation phase. Okay. So what we will do in the project initiation phase is nothing but we are going to create one document called ROM. Okay. ROM is nothing but rough order of magnitude. So what we'll do here in the project initiation stage is we'll do the cost estimation. Okay, so how much cost is going to be taken, like is required in order to develop this particular application or software, right? What will be the cost? That cost estimation we'll do, and workload estimation we need to do. Okay, and also we need to understand the different, like what are the different roles that are required. Okay, in order to develop this particular project. So that is going to be taken care here in the first stage, that is the project initiation stage. So especially will like your project managers, right, business analysts, they are going to sit with the client and they are going to discuss about this. Okay, so they will do the cost estimation, timelines. Okay, and also they will do the work like manpower estimation and other things over here in the initiation stage. So once this stage got finalized, once the cost of the entire project is got finalized, right? Then we'll move to the next stage, that is the phase two. Okay, that is the requirement gathering stage, or we can call it as planning stage. Okay, in the requirement gathering stage, obviously business analyst will come here and along with the project manager, they will sit with the client and they will get the requirements from the client. Okay, they will get the functional requirements. Okay, they will get the technical requirements. Okay, and after gathering the functional requirements and technical requirements, they will review that particular requirements and they are going to create one document called BRD. What is BRD document? Any idea? Business requirement document. Okay. So in the BRD document, they are going to keep all this information. They will keep the functional requirements information. So what are functional requirements? Guys, any guess? What are functional requirements? Functional requirements means, let us say if I'll take one example called e-commerce application, as we are going to look into the e-commerce application, right? So if we take e-commerce application, how the first page should look like. Okay, what are the different options that we are going to have in the first page? Okay, what exactly that I'm expecting, okay, to see over there, and how many pages, okay, that should be there in that application. For example, there should be one home page, there should be one page for logging into the application, there's going to be one page for registering into the application, right? So for adding the products, okay, I need to have one particular page. I need to have one add to cart icon over there so that the users is going to add the items to the cart. Okay, I need to have one checkout page where I can do the checkout process. Okay, I need to have one page for providing my address details. I need to have one page for doing the payment. Okay, so like that, I need to those are all the functional requirements. Okay, so whatever the requirements that we discussed right now, these are all functional requirements. Okay, those functional requirements information we need to gather from the client in the requirement gathering stage. And if the client is aware of that particular application or that particular domain, he is going to provide his inputs. If not, business analyst is the one who is going to help the client. Okay, who is going to tell the client that, okay, if it is an e-commerce application, the application should look like this. Some kind of information he is going to provide is from his end. Okay, in the same way, technical requirements also should be gathered. Okay, like which particular uh, code we need to write. Like let us say whether we need to write the Java code or .NET code, right? Which type of application it is, Java based application or .NET based application. Okay, and how many servers are required. Okay, what are the different types of servers that we need to use, how they need to interact with each other, right? So how many services are required. So those kind of technical requirements we are going to gather here. And also project management plan is also important for us. So how we are planning here, right? So which particular roles are going to be there? Okay, who is going to perform what? Okay, project manager what he will do. Okay, developers what they will do. So like that, that entire information we are going to gather here, and we are going to keep it in the BRD document. And once after reviewing that and after getting approval from the client, okay, immediately what we will do here is we are going to give this BRD document to the project manager. That means business analyst, right? He's going to prepare this, and this business analyst, he's going to give this BRD document, okay, to the project manager. So immediately what project manager will do is he will create one more document here called SRS document. SRS means Software Requirement Specification Document. Okay, so based on the BRD document, the project manager is going to create one document called SRS document, that is nothing but Software Requirement Specification Document. Okay, so why he is going to create this document is nothing but, so if we provide this BRD document to the developers, okay, they won't understand the requirement properly. So that's the reason why, okay, in order to develop one particular software, okay, what are the software requirements that we need to have? Okay, so that we need to keep it in a separate document. So that's the reason why this project manager will create one more document which are related to only software requirements. Okay, software requirement specifications. So that software requirements related document that he's going to prepare, and this document is going to be passed to the next stage as an input. That is the phase 3. Okay, phase 3 is nothing but the design phase. In the design phase, again, technical architects, right? TA, technical architects will be there, as well as your UI UX team will be there. User interface, user experience team. Okay, UI UX team will be there. So what the technical architect will do is he is going to create the architecture. Okay, he's going to create the application architecture. That means what are the different servers that we need to have? Okay, what are the different services that we need to use? How the servers are going to interact with each other? Okay, the entire blueprint of the application. Okay, entire blueprint of the application, we are going to call it as the application architecture. Okay, so that can be taken care by the technical architect. Any questions here? Someone is trying to ask some question, it seems. No, okay. So if not, please go on mute. I'm hearing some noise from others. Okay, so
Uh,
mm, yeah, go ahead.
Requirement planning of requirements approval, like I did not listen because of technical issue. It is going back and coming. I don't know what happened.
Okay, okay. So see, whatever the requirements that we gather, right, functional and technical requirements, those are going to be reviewed and approved over here. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. And finally, this business analyst, he's going to prepare one document called BRD document, and that document is going to be shared with the project manager. And project manager, what he will do is he will prepare one more document called SRS document, software requirement specification document. And the developers or the designers, they are going to take this document as an input, and they will start developing or designing the application. Okay, this document is we are going to provide it as an input to the next phase, that is the design phase here. In the design phase, technical architect, what he will do is he will create the application architecture part. He will create the blueprint of the entire project, from where it need to start, from where it is going to end. Okay, that entire blueprint is going to be taken care by the technical architect. Okay, and he is going to create the application architecture over here. Along with that, okay, the UI UX team, user interface and user experience team, they will develop the front end of the application. Okay, I can see like they are going to not they're going to develop the front end screens. Okay, front end screens related front end screens they are going to develop here with the help of wireframes, sharks, and other softwares. Okay, so they will use some softwares and they will develop the front end related UI part. Okay, UI related screens they are going to develop here in the design phase. So this this application architecture and the flows related information, they are going to keep it here in two different documents called HLD document, high level design document, as well as LLD document, low level design document. In the high level design document, as I mentioned, the application architecture is going to be there along with the high level information like which softwares we are using it, okay, and how the UI UX related information, which screens we need to develop on a high level, it is going to be there here in the HLD document. In the LLD document, the detailed structure is going to be there. Let us say in the high level document, if we take an example, right, login page should be developed. Okay, that is going to be there in the high level document. In the high level document, we are going to say like login page should be developed. Okay, whereas in the low level document, we are going to maintain like what are the different options that we need to keep under the login page. That means we need to have one text box with the name username. We need to have one more text box with the name password. Okay, and we need to have one button on the bottom side. Okay, with the name login, and below that we need to have an option called forget password and one more option called sign up, okay, or register. So this kind of complete information is going to be kept under the low level design document. Okay, and these two documents are going to be developed as a part of design phase, and these documents are going to be given as input to the next phase, that is the construction phase or development phase. Okay. So in the construction phase or development phase, what we'll do is we are going to develop the application. Especially developers will come here and they are going to start developing the application. They will use the technology, whether it may be the .NET based application or Java based application, as it already finalized over here in the requirement stage. Okay, they will start writing the code. Okay, here. Here, both the front-end developers will be there, back-end developers will be there. So front-end developers, what they will do is they will take this UI UX screens and they will start developing the front end of the application. That means whatever the options that we discussed, right? They are going to create those options. They will add one text box, they will add one button or link over there, and they will start developing the front end of the application, whatever that an user is going to see. Okay. So that they are going to develop as a part of front-end development. As a part of back-end development, okay, developers are going to write some code. Okay, so that means after entering the username and password, okay, if we click on login button, right, then if the username and password is right, then it should go and show us the home page of that particular user. So how that process will happen? The developers will write some code here. So after clicking on the button on the backend, what will happen? Okay, it will send one request to the database, and in the database, this username and password is going to be there or not. We are going to verify that in the database, And if the username and password is available and it is right, then we are going to get some response from the database mentioning that this is the valid username and password. So because of that, we should go to the home page. Okay. So this process, they are going to write it in the form of a code here under the development stage. Developers will develop the application, okay, for each and every page. Okay. And they are going to integrate each and every page, and they are going to verify whether that application is working fine or not here. Okay. So in the development phase or the construction phase, developers will develop the application. Front-end developers will develop the screens, front-end UI part, and back-end developers will develop the code, and they will connect the code with the database and front-end, and they will verify finally the application is working fine or not in the development phase. So the output of this development phase, we are going to call it as build. Build is the output of development phase. Okay. So once we got the build, right? So this build is going to be given as input to the next phase, that is the testing phase. Okay. Testing thing comes here in the fifth stage of the SDLC. So in the phase 5, what the testing team will do is they will take this build, and they will like DevOps team will be there. They will install this build on the testing team environment. Okay. And we'll start doing the testing of the application. We'll do the functional testing, we'll do the non-functional testing over here. We'll do different types of testings like functional testing and non-functional testing. So as of now, just understand that we'll test the application. That's it. We'll test whether all the features in this application is working fine as expected or not. And once if all the features are working fine over here, then we'll prepare one report called test closure report over here. TCR, test closure report. Okay. So once after preparing this test closure report, once after getting the approval from the client, then the next stage will start. That is the product release phase. Okay. In the product release phase, what will happen? The application will go live. Okay, till now the development and testing process got completed. Once everything is fine, okay, the DevOps team will come into the picture over here, and they will start deploying this application to production environment. Okay, that means they are going to make this application live for everyone. Okay, once the application is live, right, then the next phase will come into the picture. That is the enhancement or maintenance phase or post implementation phase, where in the enhancement or maintenance phase, they're going to take some feedback from the client. Okay, based on that feedback, they are going to do some improvements. Let us say if the client is saying like the screen is not properly understandable. Okay, you need to have a proper screen. Then they'll take that feedback in the maintenance phase, and they will start improving that particular screen in a proper way, and they will again deploy that new code to the live environment, so that we are going to get updates. So it's like simply I can say like by taking feedback, we are doing some improvement in our application or software. So if you have mobiles, right, obviously after few days, if you install one application initially, after few days we are going to get some update, right? In the update, new features are going to be added. Okay, our old features related information is going to be modified and maintained properly, right? So that enhancement and maintenance phase is going to be taken care as a part of phase 7. Okay, so this is how on a high level we are going to develop one particular application, and we are going to test that application, and we are going to release that application to live environment. Okay, this is what the SDLC process is, software development lifecycle process. Any questions here? I want yes or no from everyone except Ravi. I know Ravi know this already, but apart from Ravi, I want answer from everyone. Yes, please confirm. Rekha, Vaishnavi.
Can you tell me about HLD and LLD?
High level document is the document wherein we are going to have the complete application architecture related information, as well as the information which is related to the uh, screens that we need to develop in a high level. Okay, that means let us say we need to develop like login page. We need to develop logout page. We need to develop payment page. Okay, on a high level, it is going to be there here in the high level document. In the low level document, we are going to have the detailed step by step process. Like in the login page, okay, how many text boxes should be there? Okay, how many buttons should be there and how they should keep. Okay, like first the text box should be there on the top and another text box on the below the first text box, and we are going to have one button over there. So that is going to be added in the low level design document. That means the in-depth point of the design, okay, as well as the architecture. We are going to keep it in the low level document. You can assume in that way.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Considering this as no, let's jump into the next part. Okay, so next slide, again, the same thing, in which particular stage we are going to prepare which document, and which document we are going to give input as the next phase, right? So we already discussed that. I'm going to skip this. So next thing that we need to know is the SDLC methodologies, which is very, very important. So there are different methodologies. Methodology is nothing but SDLC methodology is nothing but we can say like whatever the phases that we discussed, right? The software development lifecycle phases, how they have arranged it. Okay, how they have arranged it. And if we arrange those phases in a proper way, then only we are going to develop one application within the time. Okay, and the cost of the application is going to be reduced if we are going to develop the application within the time and with specific resources and other things, right? So that process is nothing but the SDLC methodology. Okay, we are going to have different models. That means these stages are going to be arranged in a different model fashion. Okay, so based on that, your application development process will vary. Okay, so those models are nothing but waterfall model, iterative model, spiral model, agile model, V model, Big Bang model. Okay, these are the different models or methodologies that are available. Okay, out of that, the first methodology or the initial methodology is going to be the waterfall model. And after that, we have like other models, but I'll cover only three models here, which are important: waterfall model, V model, and agile model. Okay. So initially we are going to have we started working with the waterfall model, and later we found there are some drawbacks here in the waterfall model. So that's the reason why we jumped to V model, and here also we found some drawbacks. In order to overcome that, nowadays we are following agile model or agile methodology here. Okay, so this is the current methodology that we are following right now. Okay, if we follow the agile methodology, what are the advantages that we are going to have? How we overcome the disadvantages of other methodologies in the agile methodology? Okay, that way we'll try to understand the methodologies here. And again, I'm going to cover on a high level. Okay, why I'm covering this on a high level is nothing but you need to understand understand like which methodology we are going to use. In interview, they will ask you this question: which methodology that you are following. At that time, if you are saying like waterfall model or V model, then it's wrong. Okay, nowadays every company they are following the agile methodology. Okay, so we need to know what exactly the agile methodology is, why it is advantageous over the other two methodologies. Okay, and other methodologies, I can say other all the other methodologies, but again, no need of having the complete picture of all the methodologies. But if you have the idea of waterfall methodology, V methodology or V model, as well as agile model, only these three, that's enough. Okay, So let's start with the waterfall model. So in the waterfall model, right, all the stages are arranged in this fashion. If you observe, first requirement stage is there. After completing the requirement only, we'll go to the analysis phase. After completing the analysis only, we'll go to the design. And after completing it, we'll go to the coding. And after completing it, we'll go to the testing. And finally, we'll go to the acceptance, client acceptance part. That is the production live part. Okay. So here in the waterfall methodology, right, the process will be first they will start the requirement phase. After gathering all the requirements, they will close that requirements phase. Okay. And once after closing that requirements gathering part, then only they will start the analysis. Once after doing the analysis, they will come to the design. Right. So let us assume, okay, during the design phase, okay, if the requirement is something wrong, okay, and during the design phase, let us assume that design team, they developed the requirement in a different way. Okay, the client expected one sort of screen, but in the design phase, okay, it went into a different one. Okay, now what happened here? There is no client interaction that is going to happen here in between. So after each and every stage or during the discussion of each and every stage also, there won't be any client interaction. Okay, first drawback that they have observed is client interaction is not going to be there. So as client interaction is not there, right? What is happening here? Let us say we developers developed the application and we started testing the application. But at the time of testing, we came to know that the requirement is one particular thing, but developers, they developed a different one. Okay, requirement is one feature and they developed a different feature. During the testing, we came to know this thing, right? At that time, we can't go back and we can't again start from the requirements here, right? We can't do the whole process again. Why? Because it will take time and it will need like more manpower to complete the project within the specific timelines, right? So client interaction is the major thing that is missing over here in the waterfall methodology. Okay. And the second issue that we have here is, right, the testing team. I'm just talking about only the testing team here. Why? Because we are the testers, right? So I'm just talking only the testing team. So the testing team involvement is going to be there, okay, very lately. The testing team involvement is going to be there very lately here. After completing the development only, okay, the testing team will involve in this particular model. Till that time, right, till that time, the testing team is going to sit quietly. Okay, they don't have any work. They are not going to start anything till the developers are going to develop the application. Okay, they are not going to prepare any documents. They'll sit simply. Okay, this is one more disadvantage that we have. Okay, client interaction is one disadvantage, and testing team involvement in the project is going to start very lately in the waterfall model. These are the two major disadvantages that we have. Okay, we have few other disadvantages also here in the next slide, but again, these are all acceptable disadvantages only. Okay, at the end of the day, we know that these disadvantages are there. Because of that only, we are moving to the next model or next methodology called V model. Okay, so high amounts of risk and uncertainty is going to be there. If we follow this methodology, okay, high amounts of risk will be there. Why? Because if we are missing some requirement, then the entire project will collapse, right? And this model is not good for complex and object oriented projects. So this model is not good for complex projects especially, and it is not suitable for the projects where the requirements are moderate to high risk of changing. Okay, so today client is going to come with some requirement, and after 1 month or 2 months, if the client feel like this is not the way I need, okay, and if the client is going to come and tell us like I need some other way, then we can't follow that particular process again in the waterfall model. That is one drawback here. If the requirements are keep on changing, we should not go with the waterfall model. And no working software is produced until the late during until the late of this life cycle process. That means until the end of the life cycle process, I can say. Okay, we are not going to show the working software to the client. That means client interaction is not going to be there, and we are not going to show the client any developed software till the last stage. So that is one major drawback here. Once the application is in the testing stage, it is very difficult to go back and change something, right? So we spent some 6 months or 7 months to develop one application. After that, if the requirement got changed, or if we misunderstood the requirement and we developed the application with the with a different way, in a different way, right? Then it is a trouble for us. We can't go back and we can't start the development again, right? As we have only stipulated timelines and we have some specific budget to that particular project. So these are all the different limitations or drawbacks that we have. Okay, but our concentration is going to be there mainly on the client interaction part as well as the testing team involvement part. So in the waterfall model, the client interaction is not going to be there till the end, and testing team involvement is not going to be there. Okay, till the development process is going to complete. So these are the two major drawbacks that we are going to highlight here. Okay. So because of these two drawbacks, we can't proceed with the waterfall model. So that's the reason why we'll go with the V model. Okay. So in the V model, right, we are going to have two phases. One is the verification phase. Okay. We are going to call that as the developer's life cycle. And second one is the validation phase. We are going to call this as the tester's life cycle. Okay. So what will happen in this phase is nothing but once the business analyst, okay, once the business analyst is going to gather the requirements from the client, right, in the requirement phase of SDLC, right, he is going to provide the BRD document over here. Okay, he is going to provide the BRD document over here, business requirement specification document over here. Okay, so based on this, in the developer's life cycle or in the verification phase, okay, your manager is going to start developing the system requirement or software requirement specification document over here. Parallelly, what will happen? Okay, the same BRD document is going to be given to the testing team also, and they will start developing some documents. Okay, they will gather the testing requirements over here, okay, from the BRD document, and they will start developing the testing related documents. What are those documents? That we will see in tomorrow's session. But for now, just remember that, okay, from the starting onwards, the testing team involvement is going to be there here if we follow the V model. Okay, initially, during the verification phase, the developers will start developing the application by preparing all the required documents. At the same time, testing team is also going to start developing the documents which are related for testing. Okay, they will prepare the requirement document, they will prepare the test plans, they will prepare the test cases. Okay, so different documents, whatever that they need to develop, they are going to develop it from the starting itself. Okay, so this way, out of two drawbacks that we have, okay, that is client interaction as well as the testing team involvement. The second drawback, that is the testing team involvement drawback, we are able to overcome here in the V model. But the client interaction issue is still there. Okay. So here also in this V model also, we are not going to involve the client till the end of the life cycle. Okay, till the end of the life cycle. So that's the reason why after completing the testing only, we are going to show the client the final product. At that time, if the client feels like that is not his product, or if he's going to tell some modifications, again, it is going to be an issue for us. So that's the reason why, okay, this model is also not feasible. Even though the testing team involvement is there from the starting onwards, but still client is unable to understand, the client interaction process is not there in the V model. Okay, so that's the reason why instead of going for the waterfall model or V model, they suggested one new methodology called agile methodology. Okay, so in the agile methodology, what the team will do is, see, let us assume we have some 10 different flows. Okay, 10 different screens or flows that we need to develop. Okay, so in the agile methodology, right? So this entire project is going to, we are going to break this entire project into different iterations. Okay, we are going to call that iteration as sprint. Okay, we are going to call this as sprint. So we are going to call this as sprint. Okay. So the entire project is going to be divided into different sprints here. This is what initially they are going to do. Who is going to taking care of this? The product owner. Okay. Product owner is the guy who is going to do this. Okay. He'll completely divide the project into different sprints. Okay. And in each sprint, how many flows that we need to develop. Okay. He is going to identify and is going to put that information over here. Let us say out of 10 different flows. Okay. So after discussing here, he said like first initially we need to develop 3 different flows in the first sprint. Okay. In the second sprint, we need to develop 2 different flows, and in the third sprint 2, and in the fourth sprint 2. That means within the 4 sprints of time. Okay. So we are going to we are going to develop and test the complete application related flows over here. That is what the intention. And each and every sprint is going to have a duration between 1 to 4 weeks generally. Okay. Sometimes it will go for 2 to 8 weeks also. Most of the companies will follow like 2 weeks sprint. That means like 14 days to 15 days max, not more than that. Okay. Some companies they will follow like 2 to 8 weeks sprint also. Okay. Each sprint duration is going to be like 2 to 8 weeks or 1 to 4 weeks. Okay. Within that particular time, okay, they will try to understand the requirement first, and then they need to design the application based on the requirements. They need to develop the application, and also we are going to do the testing here. Testing is missing here in this image. Ignore that. So we are going to do the testing here, and once after doing the testing, we'll show that output to the client. Okay. After the first sprint, after developing these 3 features, okay, we are going to show those 3 features to the client. And if client is going to say any modifications, let us assume out of these 3 features, client said like 2 features are good. Okay, but I need some modification in one of the feature. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll take this particular feature as a backlog and we'll move this feature to the next sprint. Okay, we are going to move this feature to the next sprint. So in the next sprint, that is the sprint 2, instead of developing 2 features, we'll start working on 3 different features. Okay, 2 features from that particular sprint and 1 from the backlog. Okay, so initially we'll start with this particular backlog. We'll try to complete this feature. Okay, whatever that is moved from sprint 1 to sprint 2, and then we'll work on the remaining 2 features. Okay, in the sprint 2 also the same process will follow. Okay, we'll try to understand the requirement, we'll design that, we'll develop that, we'll test that, and finally we'll show that output to the client. Okay, once after completing the second sprint, if the client got satisfied with all the 3 features here in the sprint 2, then we are good. So here if you observe, testing team involvement is there in each and every sprint, as well as client interaction is also happening after each and every sprint. Okay. So at the end of the sprint, maximum we are going to develop like few features of the application only, right? Not the entire application. We are not going to entirely develop the application and we are going to show it to the client, right? We are going to partially develop some features of the application and we'll show that to the client. If the client feels like it is good, then we'll move to the next sprint. If client is going to say some modifications, we'll take that modifications or we'll consider that modifications as a backlog under the next sprint, and we are going to start working on those backlogs along with that sprint related user stories. And we'll try to develop that and test it and we'll show that output to the client. So like this, iteratively, it is going to happen, right? The same process will go on continuously. Okay, the same process will go on continuously here. This process, we are going to call it as agile methodology. Hope you got some clarity, like what is waterfall model, what is V model, okay, why we move to agile model, what is the advantage of going to agile model. Any questions till now? Guys, please confirm. Any questions here? If not, I'll close the session here for today. Okay. We'll meet tomorrow again and we'll continue with the software testing life cycle process in tomorrow's session.